Hi, this is Barry Gazard from Team Nice Realty. I'm a real estate broker here in the state of Georgia. And today I want to talk about whether you as a buyer, if you're looking to buy a home or other real estate property in Georgia or anywhere else in the country, whether you should go it alone and try and do it yourself, DIY, or whether you should hire a buyer's broker. Now, there are pros and cons to this, and I'm going to discuss those pros and cons, and then you can make up your mind. Well, really, there's only one con or one negative, and that is that buyer's agent, like any professional, needs to be paid for their services at the end of the day. Because traditionally, that buyer's agent has been paid at closing via the seller. In other words, that's been charged on the closing statement to the seller. But really, if you think about it, the only person who brings money to closing is the buyer. What the seller's done is it included in the purchase price the commission for the buyer's agent, but they're not bringing money to closing. But things changed. After August the 17th, 2024, a settlement that was reached between the National Association of Realtors and some plaintiffs who alleged that the commissions weren't competitive. Things changed, and now you're going to see more and more sellers not wanting to offer that. So you might have your buyer's agent looking to you to pay that if that is the scenario. But either way, it's either included in the price or your buyer's agent will say it's not included. So let's just adjust the price, the offer price accordingly and offer them that much less. There's some cash flow implications to that, but that's the nuts and bolts of it. So let's talk about the positives, why you should hire a buyer's agent. And they're basically, I'm going to divide this into 6 stages. Number 1 is you have to find a buyer's agent, or a buyer's agent will find you. You will speak to them and decide whether you want to engage them, hire them as your buyer's agent or not. Now, for myself personally, I like to take 10 or 15 minutes out with any potential new buyer client and tell them a little bit about myself, what makes me different, and how I massively can benefit them. I then spend about 5 or 10 minutes asking them various questions to try and determine what their motivations are, exactly what they're looking for, and making sure that we're really going to be a good fit. And if that's the case, then I'll obviously say to the buyer client, I'm happy to work with you. Are you happy to work with me? And if they are, then we'll proceed from there. Now, once a buyer has decided that this is the agent they want to hire, they will be asked to sign a buyer-broker agreement. And this basically sets out the duties of the agent, their responsibilities, and also what's expected from the client. And of course, it will also cover the buyer's agent commissions. And generally, that is between 2 and 4%, kind of averages out in the middle there somewhere, but not fixed by law, totally negotiable. And of course, that's a discussion you're going to have at that point, at that time. So that is really step number 1, hiring your agent and communicating to your agent exactly what you're looking for, and them finding out, if you're going to be a good fit for them or not. Stage number 2, I call property identification and selection. So this is really looking at what's out there, what comes in through the multi-listing service, what might be available through for sale by owners and other sources that your agent may or may not have access to, and then physically going out and shortlisting those and looking at those properties. And here an agent does many things. First of all, a good real estate agent is going to eliminate properties that upfront have problems or won't meet your buying criteria. For example, it could be a property that is not going to qualify for financing or traditional financing, if that's what you're looking for, or an FAA or a VA mortgage or whatever type of funding you're going to be using. So that's the second phase. The third phase is once a buyer and their agent have decided on 1 or 2 properties that the client, the buyer, wants to make an offer. And that third step is called contract negotiation. So in the contract negotiation phase is where you'll really discover the value of having an experienced, well-versed agent who knows their local markets and who knows how to negotiate depending on the market. So there are different strategies. So one of the things your agent should do if you're a buyer is discuss with you upfront various negotiating strategies and also tailor that not only for the market, but the price range, the category that you're buying in, etc. And also even the time of the year, the seasonality. So these are all factors that an experienced, highly qualified agent will bring to the table. And that's really what separates the possibly newer, inexperienced agent from the agent who's been doing this for a long time with a lot of success. Step number 4 is once you have negotiated that contract, you go under contract, there are going to be certain conditions that need to be met. We'll accommodate at that point. But it is now up to your agent to make sure that various inspections happen. Those inspections, if there are any repairs needed, that those are negotiated. Again, that's a second negotiation that really takes place and is going to work with you to get that to the next phase, the next step, which is the closing. So that's a really straightforward process here in the state of Georgia. We use closing attorneys. Other states may use a title company to do that. But what the agent will do then is go through all the costs, will double check those, make sure they're good, make sure that the closing statement complies with the purchase contract that was signed, etc. Stage number 6 is post-closing services. So this is the final stage. So the deal, although it's over at the closing, obviously you have now purchased this home and there are things you're going to need to do. You're going to need to get the utilities connected. There may be repairs that you want done, and you're going to be looking to your agents who may be able to refer good contractors, a good handyman, etc. Also, you may need to speak to the HOA. There may be issues if you want to make some changes. You may need to get permissions to do that. There may be an architectural design committee on the HOA to deal with that. You may need to file a homestead exemption depending on your age and what state you're in. So there are all these post-closing items that an experienced agent can do for you. So those are the 6 stages, and I could go into a whole bunch more details, guys. I could talk about this for an hour. There are about 117 different boxes an experienced agent will tick to make sure that you cross all the T's and dot all the I's. But I'm not going to go into that here because it gets kind of mundane and boring. Unless you are highly experienced in dealing with real estate and you do that often and you know the local market and you're very current on that, I would definitely suggest you hire a buyer broker agent, and I would suggest you hire one that has a lot of experience. But again, it's up to you. You can do it yourself. Thousands of people do that every year. But at the end of the day, this is the biggest investment that most people will make will be in their home. Most people will take out a 30-year mortgage. Even if you've bought and sold homes before, I would genuinely suggest you use a buyer's agent. So that's it from me, Barry Gazard, Team Nice Realty. I hope you have a great adventure buying your right home. Barry Gazard, Team Nice Realty, out.